let's proceed to the next segment of our talk show where we talk about student life and how they move away from curriculum and how they actually contribute to the NTU student life ecosystem. Right, guys, welcome back. So, engineers are boring. Agree or disagree? Disagree. Disagree? Serious? Have you heard of this saying from any of your friends, from any of your peers, from other schools? Engineers are boring. Have you? Yes or no? Cross or circle? Ah, right. Okay, good. Now we are talking. Right. So, Guotong, do you want to share with us? Do you want to share with us why you disagree with this saying? Engineers are boring.
Personally, for me, I actually had a lot of fun with my friends in this course. So it's about the perception that people had built over the years that kind of shaped the mentality that, oh, you're into engineering, you're not going to have as much fun doing other stuff as compared to other faculties. But I believe that's not true. It's about you going to the faculty and actually trying out new things and make the experience fun for yourself. Not that the faculty has to make it fun for you.
I'm just curious, you mentioned in your first sentence, we had a lot of funs with my coursemate. What kind of fun?
Can be spontaneous travels or like just dining outside. Those simple pleasures that we have.
Okay, good. That's where you forge friendships, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, good. How about Wei Nan? You have to shuttle between two different schools because of your second major.
I guess the most common reasons why people associate engineers with as boring people is because probably firstly the workload of engineers, because they spend a lot of their time in studying their courses and no time for fun and enjoyment. And secondly is because the nature of the students themselves, they like calculations, they do math and in their room and not to interact with others. Well, I think the two of them aren't really true because firstly the workload is more actually work-life balance. Like, true, the workload is may be heavier than other courses, but I think it's all up to the personal, your personal choices in how you allocate your time, and you can choose not to allocate so much of your free time into games, fun and games, or so much into So it's more of finding the correct balance. If you find the correct balance, I don't see why you have no time to have fun.
I see.
And secondly, back to your question, yes, I do see a difference between the students in business school and students in engineering school, as the latter tends to be a bit more introverted or less outspoken. However, that doesn't mean they're boring. Maybe they're just not outgoing, they just don't talk to you as much, but maybe they're just fun among their close group of friends.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the stereotype may not be true once you actually step inside the college.
I see. I was just wondering, how much time do you spend attending classes? You want to write that down and see whether, do we have a large variation this time? How many hours per week do you spend attending classes? An estimate. Just put a
0 for this.
0 for this sem.
Zero for this sem. I make sure I will send this video to your parents.
Heavy internship, so no class.
Right, okay.
Roughly.
In a typical week. Yeah.
It's got FIP.
After you attend lecture.
Don't count FIP.
Yeah.
Just a typical
FIP is double this.
Okay, come. Let's show us how many hours do you spend attending. 5 hours.
It says at least 5.
At least 5. Okay. Right. 23 hours, 20-ish, 12 to 15. You got 15 hours. So that's just about right? So you have about 15 hours, which roughly translates to about 3 to 4 courses or modules, perhaps, maybe with some labs. Okay. This is a sensitive question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. How many day week do you have? Like in a week, how many days of school do you have?
I got 5 more classes.
It's got a 5-day week
FIP is 5 days.
On a typical year.
or 4-day week. In a
year.
typical year, yes.
Typical year.
Yeah, FIP is
Yeah.
5 days.
Do you have to attend classes like every day? Okay, come. Let us see. 5-day week, 4-day week. You managed to squeeze into 4 days. Perfect. 5-day week, most classes end after 3:30. Okay, how do you do that? 4-day week.
It's more of the allocation of the courses index. So I try to squeeze more lessons into a single day
Okay.
rather than spread it out throughout the entire week.
Right. So what do you do in that 3 day?
To catch up on the studies or like assignments that I have accumulated across the week. Yeah.
Okay. Self-learning.
Self-learning.
Okay. Take a proactive step in learning.
Good plan.
Okay. Good. Right. How about you, Kun Yong? You are on a 5-day week.
Yes.
No time for other things.
That's actually not true because actually classes are spread around these 5 days. So actually most of the classes end early. So some days end by usually 12 or at the latest by 4:30.
Okay.
So I can always find time to study.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yes. We're not
I
yes.
just want to add on that the number of days per week may not be the true indicative of how heavy the workload is.
Okay.
Because it depends on personal choice and how you allocate your modules.
Yes.
For instance, if some people may like to allocate 5-day work week because they just don't want to wake up in the morning, so they have lessons after 12, after 1. That doesn't mean their workload is heavier than someone who is of a 4-day work week or 3-day work week. So I think it's ultimately on personal choice.
Especially attendance is not taken. in NTU, right? Okay, good. Let's shift gear a little bit and talk about CCAs. How many of you consider yourself very active in CCAs? Very active. Wow. Okay. Very laid back. Okay, right. So let's talk to Kun Yong. Yes. What CCA are you involved in?
I'm currently in Computer Science and Engineering Club. So I'm running as a president of the club now.
Wow, a president.
Yes.
Okay, must be a lot of you must have a lot of duties on your shoulders.
Yes, it is a commitment.
Okay, so what do you do as a president of this club?
As a president, firstly, I work towards improving my school's community and taking care of students' well-being. So we'll hold events and events to maybe relieve the students' stress level during the exam period. Also, I have to take care of my committee members as well as my subcommittee members. Yep.
Okay, how about Sin? What kind of CCAs do you take part in?
Okay, I'm the president of the CN Young Scholars Club as well as treasurer of the MAE Leadership Development Program. Yeah, then like for president, well, it's quite similar to his, but we have like 2 additional portfolios. So one of them is like our outreach. It's a rather small portfolio, but basically what they do is to outreach to prospective scholars during those kind of like school open houses and that sort of thing. And like we'll also like run camps and other activities in order to kind of like pull people into the CN Young
see.
Scholars Program. Yeah.
Right. Why do you think this is so challenging? You know, it must be challenging for you as a president.
Yeah. I think one of the challenges comes from needing to manage like 7 different portfolios because it's a lot and they have very different events. Like it ranges from like welfare events to like business management, welfare pack proposals to like outreach proposals. So there's really a very wide range of activities that as president I'll have to look after, and I have to understand what goes on behind all those activities as well, because I cannot just approve a proposal because it looks nice. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Guotong, no time for CCAs, no time for activities.
As a final year student, I think that my time in the school-wise is quite limited to the courses that I've taken up as well as for my final year project.
Okay, but have you like taken part in any or organized any, like for example, freshman orientation camp before?
Okay, so I was the chairperson of the TOP, Transitionary Orientation Program, back in 2018 for MSE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
so I was in charge of liaising between the schools and the student union into organizing the 4-day freshman camp. So for me, the experience was quite daunting at the start because it's about building that committee that is willing to go forward with you from the start to the end.
I see.
And it doesn't end until the new batch of freshmen has taken over.
Right.
Yes. So
it's
for
a
me,
1 year commitment.
it's
kind of
slightly
thing?
longer than a year commitment.
Slightly longer than a year.
Because I was a GL before that, so it
Okay.
was like a 2-year
group leader.
program. Yes.
Right.
It was a 2-year program for me in a
Uh-huh.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. Right. How about Debbie?
So for me, throughout, okay, so I'm a year 4 student currently. From my first year to my 4th year, I did many different school activities. In year 1, I was in hall, so I participated in competitions in hall, in dance. And then in my year 2, I took part, I took up the position of Assistant Honorary General Secretary in Hall Council. And then in my 3rd year, I was away on exchange and internship. And on my final year now, I am a president of the Electrical and Electronic Engineering Club. Yeah, in school.
I see.
So I took up a number of different activities.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you must be really very active.
Yeah, but it was tiring, but it's rewarding anyway in the end, so it's fine.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Why do you say that this is rewarding? I mean,
Because
yeah.
besides like studying all the time, you take your own initiative to step out of your own comfort zone to interact with other people and to ensure that, like for now being a president, you similar to them, like to ensure the well-being of your students.
Right.
Then in other positions in my lower years, it's like you interact with more people, you find out like how it is like for other people in your university life.
I see.
And the more you interact and the more you get to know someone, then you gain more experiences by listening to their experience as well. So it's rewarding for yourself.
I see.
Yeah.
And I guess the skill sets you acquire will come in very handy.
Yeah, definitely.
As you progress through your career next time, the ability to lead, the ability to inspire people around you. I think these are some of the things which I guess textbooks will never ever give. You guys the experience. Yeah. Who has actually taken part in competitions? Kind of like national level or school or university level kind of competitions. Anybody here? Oh wow. Okay. No. Yes. Okay. Sidin, what kind of competitions do you take part in?
I went to join the NTUC Income Future X Staircase, which was last year, I think. Yeah, and I got champion for it, so that was nice. That was quite an interesting experience because we joined the case competition not knowing that it was going to be about insurance. So we did our initial proposal to them. Our pitch was about using worms to decompose like food waste. When we went in, it was an insurance competition, so it was quite a big shock to us. Yeah.
And you emerged as a winner.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So it's kind of interesting because you are an engineering student, right? And you take part in a presumably non-technical kind of competition.
Yeah.
It must be really challenging.
Yeah, it was.
What is your role in that team?
For my role, I suppose we work really well together as a team.
Okay.
And my team happened to have 2 coders, and they coded a website and an app within a span of I think 2 days or 3 days. Yeah. So it was really impressive. Then I was part of the team who helped with the presentation, the budget of our proposed events management, insurance thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it must be really daunting because you change from something to do with decomposing waste using worms. It's like 180 degrees change. Wow. Okay, good. Okay, I'm sure some of your juniors will be very, very keen to know whether it is important to stay in hall. Okay, because in NTU, every student is guaranteed 2-year hall stay, right? Is it important to stay in hall? Say yes. If you say yes, have a circle. If not, if you don't think that that's important, you're flipping around. Right, Weinan? I guess you want me to ask you this question.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
the reason for me staying in hall is different from others.
Okay.
Some people choose, I think the most common reason for staying in hall is for the hall life.
Yes.
And the friends you make in hall camp, the friends you make with your neighbors, I guess those are truly valuable experiences and memories that most people hold dear to them.
Right.
Unfortunately, I do not. I stayed hall because due to the proximity from the halls to my lecture theatres and tutorial rooms, which was really convenient for me as I stay in Serangoon.
Sure.
And so travelling would take a toll on me and my
I see.
workload.
Okay.
And like travelling 1.5 hours to and fro.
Right,
So
right.
having the guaranteed 2 years hall stay is actually quite convenient, and it's a good. Should I read?
Yeah. It's more for the convenience part.
Yes.
Terence, you do not stay in hall?
Yeah, actually throughout my, now in my final year, but
Yeah.
throughout my 3 years, actually I don't stay in hall.
Yeah, 3 years because you
I went the direct year
entry,
two, yeah,
direct year
correct.
2, right? From poly. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you survive, without staying in hall? I cannot imagine that.
Actually, I feel I never lived that far as compared to when he live in Serangoon. But I actually live in Choa Chu Kang only, so it's like near to NTU. And also NTU actually has shuttle bus where they actually have bus service from Gompa MRT, Bukit
Okay.
Gompa MRT, all the way to NTU itself in the morning. So if you feel like it's a drag to come to school, maybe you can take a shuttle bus, then you can take a rest at the bus also. Yeah, but actually I make it a point to attend all lectures also because I feel like during my past 3 years of poly, I've get used to the life of attend school.
Do you notice that they're laughing?
So actually I don't feel why you
relate.
should skip any lectures also.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So it is possible not to stay in hall and
Yeah, actually it's
still
not possible.
manage your time pretty well.
Yeah, correct.
Do you need a lot of CCA points to stay in hall? No?
No, not.
No, you
not
don't have to
really.
take part in a lot of activities just to stay in hall. There are enough accommodations in it.
Yeah, currently with the 2 year guarantee, there is enough accommodation as well for students. And even if you don't take part in that many hall activities right now, you as a year 1 student will still be guaranteed a placement in year 2. But it may or may not be the same hall that you applied for when you were in year 1.
I see. Okay, so generally not an issue.
Yeah.
Right. And I think for CN Young program, you're guaranteed 4 years of accommodation.
Yeah.
Is it compulsory to stay in hall for CN Young?
No, not at all.
Not compulsory.
Save the
Not
money
all.
to travel.
Okay, sure. All right, good. How about residential education? There's this thing called experiential learning in the residential quarters. Any of you have any views? Any of you have any experience in those residential education?
I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like was actually okay. I'm in Hall 10, which Prof. Bell is the person in charge in Hall 10, and she was also the one that started this program of residential education.
Yes.
So when I was in Hall Council at that period of time, she was the one that really tried and pushed forth and kickstart residential
Yes.
education.
Yes.
So residential education is kind of a program where when you're in hall, you can attend lessons or like programs that are taught by either like outside hired instructors, or sometimes they are conducted also by the postgrad students who are staying in the hall.
Right. What
Yeah.
kind of programs?
So there are programs such as like there's culinary, there's also like beer making, beer production, and then there's also astronomy. So there's a wide range of different residential education that occurs in NTU right now, like after the few years already, which is open to students of hall. So within your own cluster, you can attend a residential education program of another hall as well. So it makes your hall life more enriching because you can choose whether you want to attend these programs, and it's free.
Yeah. I think this is really important because from NTU's management's perspective, it has to do with changing the mindset, the ability to self-learn, the ability to have lifelong learning will be a very, very important skill set in tomorrow's world, right? So I think NTU has really done a lot in trying to inculcate this residential education, all right? Good. Quiz time! That's what you're like, right? Okay, 2 questions. The first question. Which are the founding schools of NTU? Which are the founding schools of NTU? You can write as many as you want, as little as you want.
There's one statue at the right.
The founding schools.
Pretty sure.
With the S, founding schools. There will be more than one schools. That goes to show how much you know about your university. Second question. I don't think a lot of people will be able to get this correct, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is the number of engineering students our College of Engineering take in a typical year? In a typical year, how many engineering students do we admit? No discussion. Breaking code of conduct. You got 10 more seconds. How many students do we take in across the College of Engineering in a typical year? All right, let's look at your answers. Okay. First question. Wow. Yes. I think the only person who got it correct is Ko Tong. You have been studying history of antiquity. Right, and the answer is correct. So you wrote EEE, you wrote MAE, and then you also wrote CEE, right? Just so that you know, last time during the founding years of NTU, MAE is not known as MAE, it's known as MPE, Mechanical and Production Engineering. And because we need to evolve over time, okay, we have introduced the Aerospace Engineering program, okay? And then CE wasn't known as Civil and Environmental Engineering, okay? It was known as CSE. Can you all guess what S stands for? Yes, Civil and Structural Engineering, okay? And then we introduced the Environmental Engineering because of the need, you know, to generate, to educate more engineers in this field, okay? Okay, second question. How many students? 6,000 from sit-in, 6,000, 1,000? Intake per year across the engineering schools. 2 liter. 1,005, 2 liter. Okay, so yes, the closest seems to be Kun Yong. We're thinking about 4,000. Okay, School of EEE, School of MAE remain the biggest. Of course, with the recent growth and recent advent in computer science, okay, SCSE is also growing in terms of admission numbers. Okay. All right, that concludes this segment of the video on student life. In the next segment, we will talk about internships, OCIP, as well as exchange programs.